This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 287. Stop being a martyr, and when friends say, tell me if I ever get in a bad relationship, by Ramit Sethi of IWTYTBR.com. Hello. I'm Joss Marie, and this is the show where I narrate to you every weekday with hopes of helping you optimize your relationships. Today, I'm actually going to narrate two posts from I Will Teach You to Be Rich. The first one explains the downsides to being a martyr, and the second one actually provides a script you can use to get honest feedback from family and friends. And before we jump into the posts, I'd just like to say thank you to Canada for sponsoring today's episode. Canada is pet food made by pet people, and you may recognize them as a company that's become actively involved in growing some of the fresh ingredients they use. Go to canada.com/podcast to try Canada for free by requesting a free sample. That's CANIDAE.com/podcast. But for now, let's hear Ramit's posts and start optimizing your life. Stop Being a Martyr by Ramit Sethi of IWTYTBR.com. Tony Robbins said something fascinating in a talk about feeding 100 million families. He pointed out that if you think of your work as a sacrifice, you've set yourself up for failure. As soon as you use words like sacrifice, you transform yourself into a martyr, and no one recovers from being a martyr. That identity creates a box for you to live in. I want to talk about the psychology of being a martyr. Tony was speaking to CEOs, but once you understand the martyr mentality, you see it everywhere. Workaholism. When I'm sleeping, someone else is hustling. My employees are counting on me. I have to work 16-hour days. Bad relationships. I want to be single, but my boyfriend threatened suicide last month. He'll fall apart if I leave. Parenting. Jane has ballet rehearsal. These clothes won't fold themselves, and there are toys everywhere. So much for going out. Supermom to the rescue. Can you spot the pattern? Hint. Anyone who says I can't be happy because of X has turned themselves into a martyr. Curiously, you can give martyrs 10 ways to overcome that problem, and it won't help. Martyrs believe they need to be miserable for other people to be happy, and they use a secret vocabulary to stay that way. For example, supermom sounds amazing. Who wouldn't want to be a supermom? Yet, many moms use this label to justify putting themselves last. Want proof? Offer solutions and watch what happens. If you recommend a nanny, she'll say too expensive. If you suggest after-school programs, she'll say kids need quality time. If grandparents offer to babysit, she'll say, we can't put you out. Slowly, you realize what's actually going on. Martyrs have written an identity of powerlessness, and they won't give it up without a fight. After all, if you go out and have a blast with friends, what does it say about the last 5 years you stayed home? Pretty painful to admit you had the power all along. Much more comfortable to stick with the identity you know. And I actually have a second post from Ramit in a sec, but first I want to say thanks again to Canada for sponsoring today's episode. Canada is an independent and family-owned pet food company, and in keeping with their commitment to pets and their people, Canada is getting more involved at Canada Farms and establishing their Canada Texas cookery. It's a priority of mine to know where the ingredients come from that make up the food my dog eats, and we like Canada because they make it a priority too. Not to mention, Billy has been loving on their bison and butternut squash flavored biscuit treats. Gonna need to make sure I have a stash of those at all times. Go to canada.com/podcast to try Canada for free by requesting a free sample. And you can get other special offers too. That's CANIDAE.com/podcast. Again, that's canada.com/podcast to try Canada for free. When friends say, tell me if I ever get in a bad relationship, by Ramit Sethi of IWTYTBR.com. They never mean it. How many friends do you know who said, let's make a promise. If either of us gets in a bad relationship, we'll tell the other person we don't like their boyfriend or girlfriend. You both agree smiling, happy you can be so open with your friend. It's like two 4-year-old boys solemnly pledging that they're never going to like girls because they're gross. Yeah, dude, sure. Then your friend gets in a horrible relationship and you can't say anything. I've seen it myself. You try to subtly bring something up. Hey man, do you think it's weird that she doesn't let you order steak? And he instantly becomes defensive. 3 takeaways. Number 1. People do not want honest feedback about their relationship because their intimate partner becomes more important than their friends. As the old rule goes, if you don't like the relationship, you bring it up once and never again. If you want to stay friends after that, you support their relationship however much you don't agree with it. Number 2. Usually these disastrous relationships end, or worse, they get married. That is a long, long life. And it all could have been fixed with some honest feedback if they were ready to hear it. And number 3. The way you give feedback is as important as the feedback itself. In this post, I'm giving you a word-for-word script you can use to get honest feedback from your friends and family. Feedback that will let you in on the conversation they're already having about you, sometimes involving them rolling their eyes when you go to the bathroom. You want to know how to improve yourself? You have to ask. What would happen if you sent this to 3 people today? Hi, insert name. I'm trying to come up with a really good New Year's resolution and I want your help. I know this might sound weird, but I would love your feedback on 1. One thing you think I do really well, and 2. One thing I could improve about, such as blank. Thanks. Note, the blank could be words like social skills, the way I dress, how to be more thoughtful, and so on, whatever you want to improve. This email is the kind of thing nobody else does, and it can pay off in massive rewards. What if you found out that you tend to ramble on and everybody hates it? You would never know unless you asked, and now you can fix it and move on. You'll also get to find out what people love about you, which is something we don't get to hear enough. This email works because you're transparently telling people what you're looking for, acknowledging it's a little weird, and asking for one positive and one constructive piece of feedback. Can anyone spot why I chose that? You just listened to the post titled, Stop Being a Martyr, and When Friends Say, Tell Me If I Ever Get in a Bad Relationship, by Ramit Sethi of IWTYTBR.com. Thanks to Ramit for letting us share these posts with you today. I hope you enjoyed them and look forward to seeing you again tomorrow with a post from Evan Mark Katz, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.